Hi, welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts. You're catching me on my YouTube channel, True Divine 44, Bitchute channel, True Divine 44, and The True Divine for both Instagram and Twitter. You can also get me on my Facebook business page, True Divine 44. This is where I put out the free content to do my bit to help support, guide and inspire those who I can support, guide and inspire. It is general. It's where I combine the energy work that I do and the tarot work that I do to bring a narrative to help you guide your day, to help you recognize the energies within, and also help you navigate the energies around you to your best and highest potential. Again, take what resonates and ditch the rest. This is for the 18th of January 2021, and it's the story is unfolding. It's getting interesting, and I think we can get really tense, and it's important that we share knowledge. It's important that we shed light on the systems and the way that they work and the corruption and the unfairness if we are to evolve rather than devolve into worse states of consciousness as a collective. But at the same time, due to this shakeup, due to what is being seen, this is the biggest potential of reaching a higher consciousness in the collective and reaching a more balanced state of play as to how we create in this experience, how we relate in this experience, because all is being seen for those who want to see it. All is being unveiled and revealed for those who can see and hear it. And so this is where we find the potential. This is where we find the gift as to what is going on right now, and the extreme ability to see the physical manifestation of the imbalance that we have created in this realm. And it is our job individually and collectively to put it right, to create that balance again, in order for the innocents that are here, the children, when experiencing this experience alongside us. It's important that we always have them in mind in everything that we do regarding our actions, our words, our deeds, because our thoughts, because they are the ones that we are leaving. What we are creating now as adults, we are leaving it for them, as our generations before us did. We are leaving whatever fruits we create, and we certainly don't want to leave children, whether you have your own children or not. We are collectively the adults and guardians of this realm for our children. And so this is where we make sure we don't leave rotten fruit for them to be nourished by, for them to have to then try and create in. And so this is where we see, though, that the cycle that we're in, the part of the cycle that we're in, where we do see much rotten fruit on the ground, the fruits that we have created, the fruits that we have all been complacent and complicit to adding to creating this reality for the humans that are here experiencing this experience. With that rotten fruit, there's nourishment also. It turns into the mulch on the ground. It turns into the nourishing nutrients that we can then see, feel and hear from, and then act upon. And so this is, again, a gift in itself. So for the 18th of January 2021, we have the Strength card first, and this is number 8, Major Arcana, coming up a lot. And this is a beautiful card in that you see the ribbon above her head is creating that infinity symbol. The balance, the duality and the balance, and the middle point of the infinity symbol, and being in that balance point is key right now to finding your strength. You see, this is depictive of the divine feminine here and the divine masculine in the lion. It shows that the divine feminine is integral to taming the beast within, taming the want and the need to rush into action without intuition first, without feeling and compassion first. And so this is where the balance is key. And the lion also balances out, the divine masculine lion also balances out the divine feminine, in that, you know, that sometimes does need to have action taken in order to get things accomplished, in order to get things right. And so we see that this is creating that balance within ourselves. And so find your balance point today. Breathe. Breathing is so important. A lot of you will find that over the past few weeks, and even over 2020 in itself, shortness of breath was key, not because of what they are saying in the numbers that they are saying, but because the tension causes us to breathe shallowly, to not get enough breath work done, to not get enough oxygen in when we're tense, when we are in wonder of what's going to happen, when we have that anxiety, when we're picking up as empaths the anxiety levels of the collective. Indeed, it does affect the breathing. A lot of you will probably find, if you become conscious of your breathing, just how many times you stop and realize that actually I'm not breathing deeply here. I'm breathing in a very shallow way. And with that, there's imbalance, because we start to build up that anxiety within, physiologically, psychologically, emotionally, all of the above, mentally. So breathing is key to this strength card today. Breathing and finding your balance point is key to this strength card today. And so this creates a much more different platform from where you feel things as the divine feminine, and also where you then take action. You don't choose silly hills to die on. You know, it's a time for real intuition, real heart brain thought, and then real bravery in either deciding to not take action on certain things, to not bite, to not take the bait as the lion, and to act in ways when your intuition is guiding you to do so, in a way that is from a balanced platform, your 0 point, your balance point, your breath work point. And so when you're feeling like you're going to impulsively act today, when your emotions get you triggered into something in your personal life, or indeed from the collective stage, I want you to do that breath work. Take those deep breaths, in and out, in the nose, out the mouth, in cycles of 3. You know, do that 3 times and then reverse it, in the mouth and out the nose. This detaches your brain from the quick thoughts, the anxiety, because it's thinking about the rhythm of the breathing, and it's thinking about what comes next. Sorry, is it the mouth or is it the nose? And so this creates a much better point to decide upon any action from. We've got the 10 of Swords to clarify the strength card. So this is speaking of, you know, there's a lot of stabbing in the back going on. There's a lot of things that we are going to need to stay in our balance point with. There's a lot of things that coming into the end of big cycles, you know, lots of different layers of the cycle rolling into an ending. We see that it does this because there's no more room in the back for any more swords. And sometimes this can be a reprieve. It feels awful. It's a very tense card. It can be, if you're not using your strength correctly and your balance point and your divinities correctly. It can be a real difficult energy to be in. Because you feel, but it's important within this card that you don't fall into victimhood, that you don't fall into that victim role. With this card, it does bring some reprieve, because, you know, when you're going through the 8 and the 9 and the 10, sometimes it gets to the 10 and you think, you know what, stuff it. I've got no more room in my back for any more swords. And this helps you go back to the 8, go back to that balance point, go back to that breathing, to be able to discern where these swords came from and why. This is the start of finding out where healing needs to occur, which again creates even more balance, and an even more balanced platform from which you act upon. So the next card is the Queen of Swords in reverse, and this is an ouch card. So in your individual lives, this is where we see the lower side of the feminine energy, and this is where in your personal life you might be encountering quite a dangerous energy in a female that is to be wary of. Hell hath no fury, like the Queen of Swords in reverse. not thinking from a balanced point at all, being very focused on self and determined to do well for self, no matter who gets hurt in the process of doing so. On the collective stage, we see that the reflection of that. We see that as above, so below. We see that there are feminine energies in the background rising up to the fore that are not to be underestimated, that are not to be trusted. That there's a darkness to this in the way that these energies are choosing to be and choosing to act. And so we see that in the collective stage, and many of you might be encountering it in your personal lives, or just going around day to day, you know, going to the shops, whatever it might be. You know, you might just run into the people who are picking up on this energy and running with it, rather than finding their strength, finding their balance point. This is where we go back to the first two cards. It's important that you do not fall for the trap. A lot of this energy is creating a trap. A lot of this energy is very convoluted, where the Queen of Swords in the upright is very clear thinking, very fair, very just and truthful. We see that in the reverse, there are lies, manipulation, and tricks being played with the mind, with the thought processes. So it's important that you go back to these two cards and the steps that we discussed with those two cards. To clarify this Queen of Swords in reverse, having her fury and having her scorn, we've got this Knight of Swords. So this energy is rushing in a lot. On the collective stage in the US, expect some ridiculous statements, ridiculous demands coming from feminine energies in the so-called powers that be realm. We also can see that in our individual lives. Look out for Germany having quite a bit of these divine feminine, not so of the lower side energies coming up and making statements, making demands, making rules that are very difficult to meet. This is a day that these people are reacting to the lower side of these energies. There's opportunity to turn this around and act in the higher side of these energies, but this is a day where they're choosing not to do so. And they're sending their messages out. The Knight of Swords being fast and furious, you can see, charging in, often not aware of the full consequences of their actions, just going forward. And with the demand of the Queen of Swords in reverse, this Knight of Swords energy, however this message gets through to you, will be ruthless and will be quick and, you know, maybe unexpected in your personal lives and on the collective stage. There's a feminine energy in the UK that I keep feeling that, you know, it's not the most pleasant energy, and I keep feeling, and I'm not sure who it is yet, but be aware of that, look out for that, and be wary of any messages that come from that space. In your personal lives, this Knight of Swords coming in, rushing in, charging in their energy on behalf of this Queen of Swords in reverse, you might get certain quick paced changes in storylines or in accusations. Be very wary of this. They want you to jump in and act, whether this is from the collective stage, the so-called powers that be, or whether this is from your personal lives on the ground. This energy wants you to react, wants you to jump in, wants you to charge forward as well and meet its Knight of Swords with your Knight of Swords. It's not the time for that. It's not going to work out to your best. If you are being honest, and there are some of you that are feeling this reversed Queen of Swords energy, as we all can do, this is where honesty with yourself is key. This is where you go back to these first two cards yourself, and see that actually there needs to be restraint on self here, and a restraint on what messages and what energies you send out there today. Some of you who practice magic, if you're feeling this way, be aware it can be very dangerous. You can get burnt yourself practicing magic from this space, from this energy of the Queen of Swords in reverse. The ramifications aren't fully seen, even though you think you're seeing everything, even though you think you're taking everything into account and closing up as many magic loopholes as you can. There's something here to warn you regarding the boomerang effect in your magic. So be aware of that, fellow practitioners, but, be aware of that energy and, some restraint today regarding that, absolutely. And so we see the next card is the Knight, King of Wands, King of Fire in reverse, down. So this would be the masculine energy playing out. And this is where we see the storyline unfolding today regarding where we are at and what we need to see, what we need to have unveiled and revealed to ourselves. Because everything is a reflection on everything. And so we all have played a part in not acting out our full potential of our divine feminine and divine masculine from within. And so now we see this this playing out in the collective within even the genders. And so this play of masculine against feminine, feminine against masculine, we see that playing out in the characters, and this challenges how we feel about our own divinity and can take us out of balance. Again, going back to the first two cards, balance is key. But again, there's gifts in this. This is where the King of Wands is in reverse, and he very closed-minded, where usually this is a man of the people, where usually other people's thoughts, insights are heard by this energy. Today, this is very much reversed. It's very much of a closed mind, of a very singular, closed way of thinking, and a demand that needs are met from this King of Wands in reverse. And so we see this story of the verses. Divine feminine versus divine masculine versus divine feminine, rather than them both being part of each other as they really are in the true story. We've devolved from that. We've allowed hijacking to continue. We've allowed things to play out, and where we give away the power of our own divinities to others. And so this is the reflection, because giving that away was never ours to really give. We give a part of the cosmos within ourselves away to a very few. That very few cannot take it. This is where we see them creating ridiculous rules. This is where we see them very obviously not thinking clearly, not taking the right actions clearly, because they have had too long now of being in charge of too much power that has been given to them through complacency in ourselves. And so we see them literally going crazy. They're burning out their chakras. And so we see this story playing out on the collective stage, and we may see this around us today. If we see this around us in our personal lives, then there's something always to look at that we can gain from for ourselves. Why are we attracting in these energies? What is it about the way we are viewing ourselves within that we attract these problematic energies around ourselves? This would be key to finding that balance point. This would be key to having the strength to remove yourself with that Ten of Wands from this cycle, from this situation, whatever this situation might be for you. We've got the Hangman not in reverse view, to clarify the King of Wands. And this is where we see what I've just been explaining. There's growth here. In the Hangman energy, growth occurs, because what is he doing? He's flipping the script. He's turning things upside down. He's bringing his enlightenment, his lofty enlightenment to the ground, where the boots meet the ground, and saying, what is it here? What's not working in this equation here? Why is this occurring? Why is this reflecting in my life and on the collective stage? And this is where we can start to unpick and dig out these gems that take us into even higher consciousness. And this is a stillness. It takes a stillness. So again, there's been a lot of warnings today within this reading of not to act too quickly, not to act too harshly, not to speak out or think in ways that are hateful or in quick reaction to something. There's a stillness here in this card, in this Hangman, of being observant. And it might feel like you're not doing anything. It might feel, but this is key. This is exactly while everything around you is trying to get you to react, trying to get you to put yourself in dangerous situations, while everything around you is asking you to do this, the Strength card is asking you to come back to that balance point, to come back to that stillness, to bring your enlightenment from your lofty ideals to the ground, and finding where this balance, where this verses is coming in your personal life, and where you think you're not doing enough or showing enough strength to the collective, that you couldn't be more wrong, because everything that in the physical that has started to ignore the esoteric, the spiritual knowledge, is begging you and taunting you, pulling you into reacting quickly, running in, not knowing the consequences. This is where you can make such a difference, because you're not playing the play anymore. You're not being a character in their play anymore, whether this is in your personal life or within the collective stage. And this is the kind of energy that you put out, a more balanced energy, a more enlightened energy, a more thoughtful energy, a more compassionate energy, having true inner standing of how this is reflecting and how we got here and why. And so this is where you do make a huge difference, and you start to say no to the narrative that got us here, and say no to the things in your own personal life that reflects where we are in the collective stage. And so this is key. We've got on the bottom of the deck the Emperor, and it's in the upright. And this is where there is true stability that can be gained today from yourself, and which will directly influence the collective. So this is talking about firm foundations, the four, major arcana, the authority over self, authority over your actions, authority over your thoughts, your words, your deeds, but then how you go about bringing that into the material. And so this is where you have restraint. The Emperor in the upright is timely. It is Saturn, it is time, it is knowing that there's time limits on things, and so to enjoy life every day in whatever way you can, even the painful days, find a way to find bliss in that, the gifts in that, the growth in that, creating bliss for the children, creating stability for the children right now is key, and so important that we do not allow these energies to affect our own babies. That we create a happiness, an environment that is not stressed, that is not anxious, but balanced and foundational, with authority, but also with compassion. And so this for building these foundations through Divine 4-4, you get the 8, you get the strength in order to be from this balanced throne. This Emperor is sitting very symmetrical. He has this white beard and this white hair, the beard being quite long. This being key to wisdom, longevity, being around a while, seeing a lot, and so can relax, has nothing to prove, only to his own self, to his own divinity, is he answerable. And this is where we can all take reference to that and take that to heart and start acting that way, and detach from the narrative that they are trying to play out. We cannot detach or go into better foundations, higher consciousness, if we are still playing the narrative that has got us to a place where it is divine feminine, divine masculine, and the verses in the middle. And all of the heartache that brings, especially to the innocence. So we have here on the bottom of the other deck, the Five of Pentacles. This keeps coming up. And this is where we need to get ourselves away from. It is very tempting to charge in and be a part of where all of the pentacles are at, where all of the action is at, where all the people are at, you know, go in and support others before doing the work on ourselves, and you know, being a part of the team, being a part of a side, having camaraderie. It's very tempting to enter into the doors of that, into this church, into this inner sanctum of a side where you feel part of a herd. This is exactly what they want. And so you knowing that even though it's uncomfortable, maybe, even though it's against your nature, but your wisdom is telling you different, you know that it's very good to be on the outside right now, because you don't want to be part of what's going on right now. You don't want to feed into that. You don't want to give to that. You don't want to prolong that narrative. And so this is where we see it as a gift, again, being out in the cold. Now, if you are being, it also speaks to the need to maybe remove yourself from certain situations, certain business partnerships, relationships, and detach from that, put yourself out in the cold, put somebody else out in the cold. A lot of you could be experiencing from partners that on to your highest good, on for your highest good. A lot of you might still be putting up with this play of them going away, coming back, going away, coming back, and might be experiencing today this ghosting, which is part of the narcissistic narrative. And this is to try and get you to charge in with messages to try and get that feedback, because you've been conditioned and trained to lust after that feedback, to lust after being back in that inner sanctum where all the action is at. Resist this. Be the emperor. Be firm in your own foundation. Source your own energy. Source your own affection, energy, attention. And so this is where everything about today is about detach, balance, breathe. Do not rush into action. And so that's the reading for the 18th of January 2020. I still want to say December 2021 even. I hope it helps. I hope it helps you reach your highest potential and find peace today and find bliss today. My intent for all of you is that you are protected, is that you are happy, that you find bliss in things that you create and do, that your children, if you have them, are all of their needs are met, and that they feel balanced, that they feel whole. That is my intent for you all today. I appreciate you all so, so much. If you want a personal reading with me, any energy work or any spiritual guidance, get in touch at truedivinemedia@gmail.com. Also, you can get in touch with me on my Facebook business page, True Divine 44. And remember to go over to Instagram and Twitter and sub here if you will. Thank you very much. And so share this video. Thank you to all of you who do that so much. Sally, I can't thank you enough. I love you very much. And my intent for you should already have been felt. And so I think that is about it. What else was I going to say? Oh, this guided meditation, which is becoming more and more important by the day. I'm trying to fit in people. So I'm going to say for the people who emailed and anybody who else who wants to email about this guided group meditation, where we just literally are balancing out and exploring the divine feminine via the master of the divine masculine. You can still get in touch. You know, I said I would do a free session, and that's what I'm going to do. And so, you know, email me. So I've got you on email, because I would have to send the Zoom link via there, so it makes it easier. But I'm going to say Wednesday, because I keep trying to organize a day that will make everybody okay. So I hope that's okay with everybody. If not, we can fit another one in, I'm sure. You know, I'm of a giving nature. So if Wednesday at let's say Wednesday at 9 o'clock my time. So that's 9 o'clock UK time. I'm trying to do it as late as possible because I realize most of the people who want to take part are my brothers and sisters in America in various different places. So I'm trying to make it not too late for all of you guys. So let me know if that's okay, and we'll get going on that because I'm super excited about that. I'm super excited to see all of your faces and help you explore yourself. And so feel free to invite somebody around with you that night if you feel close enough to them, if you feel trustworthy to them. You don't have to be in a relationship with them. It can be a friend that you feel comfortable with, helping each other explore through your mind's eye, the divine feminine, divine masculine within each other. So that's it. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Stay balanced, and most of all, stay whole. Mwah.